how will the demise of third-party cookies and all of the, the cookie apocalypse, how will that affect that data going forward, or a brand's ability to gather that data, the accuracy of that data? How will that denigrate your data that at least Google and Facebook are capturing?
It's a great question. There's a couple things that are happening to it. One is that as privacy changes get enacted, as browsers change, we know that Safari and Firefox have made that change. As Google is forced into making the same change, although they don't want to for all the same reasons we talked about, they will have to. And the ability to track using that kind of older legacy technology will be going away. What the world of advertising technology is moving to is everyone is saying, great, we can't do all that stuff anymore. But if you got a list, we're going to help you activate that list. Just to simplify all the buzzwords out of it, it's, hey, if you got a list of real people and real households, we're going to help you activate that list, right? So that's great that the entire tech industry, ad tech industry, is moving towards that. But the challenge is that the world kind of still lives in this, desert of a lack of first-party data, right? So when you think about, okay, great, cool, everyone's moving towards this. I know I don't have my cookie-based audiences, my retargeting audiences that are, not as meaningful, the ones that are living in Facebook and Google, because they're getting smaller and smaller, or it's getting more expensive to reach them because, there's just less opportunity to do it. Everyone understands that's happening. And they're like, great, well, okay, it's cool. Everyone's moving to first-party data. What first-party data do I have, right? And that's where it very much seems like there's this data famine. And really the only data that you have is around what's in your database, right? So meaning like, if I am a big, furniture retailer, just as an example, the first-party data that I can bring to the table is going to be, hey, here's all the people that purchased, furniture from me in my database over whatever X number of time period. Or it's, hey, here's who's in my CRM type of software system, right? Where, hey, I have like kind of leads, maybe they didn't buy, but they wanted information. So I kind of have perspective and I know who they are. So I have this list essentially of information as well. Those are great starting points, right? It's people who bought from me before, or people that are kind of prospective. Maybe they didn't buy, or maybe they're still, in market for whatever I sell as a brand, or whatever my clients sell as an agency. But that's really looking in the rearview mirror, right? It's, hey, here's my list from like a while ago, right? That like people bought before, or here's what they might be still in market for, but it's not really looking through the forward windshield, right? And the way that we think of it, and where we want to kind of escort our industry into, is how do we take that kind of data famine, right, and try to move it where we can create a ton of rich first-party data, right? And that's a lot of what Full Throttle does. We hope that it's something that the industry starts developing. What we do as an example is that we help convert all those like cookie programmatic audiences, which are going to go away, into true first party in market households, right? And that's in real time on a daily basis, right? So it's not, hey, here's a list of people that bought from me, a year ago, a month ago, 2 years ago. This is in real time conversion of all that anonymous cookie-based audiences, which like I'm not going to have access to anyway. One thing that we do, and we hope the whole industry continues to move towards, is creating that rich first party data and seeding in a world where once we move to it, if we don't want it to look like this data famine, then we truly seed it with great first party data, and then brands can have access to that. Agencies can have access to that for their clients and do the great creative and media buying work that they do today. Big data houses can have access to that. So it's, as they get into CCPA legislation and, the data that they have before, they can help, make that data more relevant by using these transformed households in real time, right? So if I'm a, large data house like Axiom, I have this massive data warehouse and set, right? With the new like sale of data legislation, like how do I go and make that relevant to my clients? If my clients are in real time transforming their cookie audiences into households, now that can really enrich my entire data set as a company like Axiom. I can now deliver a fully comprehensive, hey, here's what we have, here's what you have in real time household data. And now I'm providing to my clients a more comprehensive, accurate, infused, and rich set of true first party data households.
Yeah, that's excellent. So if we just backtrack a little bit and just say, okay, so let's boil it down into its simplest form. With all of that said, at the end of the day, what does it mean to own your own audience, right? Like,
right.
What does that mean actually?
Yeah, exactly. It's a list, and I know who's on the list. And that list belongs in something that I own, whether it's a database that I own or it's my own IT. It's something that I have access to. And it doesn't matter what happens in the world and the world of ad tech and Google and Facebook and cookies and all that stuff. It kind of doesn't matter what happens because I own my list and no one can take that from me.